to start with this and go, hey guys, it's me, Darcy, joined by Kris.
I think it's on natural light today.
Fuck you. Oh, fuck. No, I think that's right.
That seems right.
And today is a very special podcast.
Oh.
Do you know why it's a special podcast, Kris? Do you know what relevance today's podcast could possibly have?
No.
Okay, Kris, what's the date today? As we are actually filming. What is the date of the filming?
It's the 10th.
No, it's not. It's almost the 10th of November, see?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, the 9th of November.
It's the 9th of November, and the podcast comes out how many days after this one?
What?
You do it. Go on, basic maths.
Well, if we go from today, it'll come out tomorrow. Oh, that's right, it's still not today. Yeah.
Kris,
You fucking keep... Yeah, god damn, it's going to throw me off every time.
I don't know how many times.
Okay, 2 days.
It's still Wednesday. Right.
2 days.
So if it's the 9th right now, in 2 days it will be the...
Okay, it's 11th November.
Which is...
Remembrance Day.
Yes, or Armistice Day if you live in
Either one.
Europe. And, you know, that's it's one of the few days where I'm like, yes, this is a good day. Not like Halloween, like, don't get me wrong, I love Halloween, but it's like Halloween is a corporate holiday. Valentine's Day is a corporate holiday. Remembrance Day is a special day. And a very important day. And one that young people really need to pay more attention to. And possibly will with the world in the way it is.
True.
We've had it good for a long time. No young people have had to go and die in terrible wars, but hey, Russia, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that.
Oh, yeah. They're making their... Hey, at least I won't have to. I can't pass the medical. At least currently. Unless they push it to a point where it's like, you know what, you can go anyway.
Yeah, you're talking about year 3 of the Y.
Yes, year 3.
So all jokes aside, Remembrance Day, very important.
Yes.
One of the few very important days. For us in Australia, it's Remembrance Day and, of course, Anzac Day.
Yeah.
Australia Day is something completely different. That's just a giant party.
Yeah.
Remember, we were all criminals once. Woo!
True.
So
much came after.
A large majority. Remembrance Day is a special one. I always just think that's quite an important one, just because. Yeah. That and all the stuff I've been watching about the World War
Now
One.
it comes out tomorrow.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah.
If you've missed that, we are filming this at midnight because
I got distracted a few times.
we're playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
The new one's okay. It's honestly, I'm gonna take a second. I'm gonna say, yep, okay, that's good enough. Just to break up the whole Remembrance Day is important and video games are fun. Break up that a bit. But as I said, Remembrance Day, super important day. Do your minute of silence, like literally, it's the least you can do. And take a little bit of time to remember a lot of people who died, especially in World War I, for no goddamn reason. And with that little public service announcement done,
Yes.
check out The Great War. It's done, but seriously, it's a good series. Watch it. Before we start talking about video games, which is where we usually go, and anime and all the rest, let's address the giant change in the room, which is the fact that you can see the room.
Oh yeah. I haven't noticed a change. I don't know that chair.
So trying something new. You can see me. You can see Kris. You can see part of my house. Still got the little cartoon men. They're not going anywhere.
No.
Cartoonified Kris and Darcy. This is just something to get our faces out there and get us more so you can get to see us and learn
Then
us.
there's a couple of videos that's just got the red light in our faces.
That's spooky. Awesome. So that's housekeeping aside. That's important information about the day the video comes out aside. Now we can talk about video games. And on my war theme, I have been playing. What have I been playing? Call of Duty. I have been playing the new Call of Duty, and let me say, Kris, it's good. Is it as good as the original Modern Warfare remake?
I haven't played enough.
I don't know. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it.
Some funny moments.
I like what they're doing. I like the fact that a bunch of people didn't die in this just for the fact of like, hey, remember these characters? They're your favourites, they're dead.
Yeah,
We're killing off your favourite characters so that you feel something, and I'm like, no. Like, don't get me wrong, a character can die, a good character can die, but let's just make sure that it's earned, not.
Yeah. Not
Like,
just right at the end as you think everything's done and bang, dead.
that's kind of like, like in the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Ghost and Roach's death is just kind of like, ha ha, because you like these characters, and it's like, why? And it's like, no, because you didn't see it coming and you've grown attached to these characters, so if we kill them, we gotcha. And it's like,
pretty shitty way to do it.
excuse me,
Better storytelling than that.
Yeah. But I will say I do enjoy the new characters, like, as much as we loved Price, Soap, and Ghost, and even Gaz. We really didn't get to know any of them really well because we were with them for like a 4-hour campaign.
True.
Except, of course, Price and Soap, who we were with for 2-ish campaigns.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like where we're going with it. I like the fact that we are actually getting some character development with our characters.
True. I like the ability to choose what we're saying.
That actually comes up a lot in the game, and that's I like that. It's honestly, it really doesn't change what's said much to you because like it might add 1 or 2 lines, but it also might not do anything. Like,
it's still a thing of like as you're going through, it's like I can make this dude a smart ass just for the sake of making him a smart ass.
Yeah, because I think so taking the dog joke from the level I showed you.
Yes.
I think had you said any of the other options, it would have played out exactly the same, just missing the line where he goes, I asked you not to tell me.
Or he may have said something else, but
well, if he said
it
what,
wouldn't be much.
if he said what, the joke would have been the same. He would have still gone, "You're a sick bastard."
Probably, yeah.
The only thing that would have been missing is the part where he goes, "I asked you not to tell me."
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, no, I do like I do like the fact that because you did choose a few options different to what I chose.
Yeah.
But really, as I said, 1 or 2 lines different than the rest of the dialogue.
It's not
it's not like an RPG where it's like, oh, you chose this option, so that changes everything. But I do like the fact that they are thinking about giving a little more player control to the narrative.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that they've finally figured out that soldiers carry those bags on their backs for a reason.
It's true, yeah.
So that they can carry more than 1 grenade.
Yeah, that's always been an old one.
But yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying it. It's story.
Added the whole crafting thing.
The crafting thing is a bit weird. I will say that. Like, I get why they're doing it, but it's kind of like. I also have a problem with like. I don't know if you saw it a lot in what I showed you, but like a lot of the cutscene, Soap has a giant knife strapped to his shoulder.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like he has like a big knife like strapped here.
Okay.
Like old school bayonet type knife.
Okay, yeah.
Except in the missions where he's just got to sneak around, and then like the knife's mysteriously gone. Like there's legitimately spoilers for the game if you haven't played it yet. But the last mission, there is a part where you sneak around, and it's like quickly find a weapon to fight them, and you got to like kind of do what I was doing in that early mission to try and find a weapon, or you can make a makeshift shiv or whatever. But then in the cutscene, like right after you complete that, he's got the knife here again, and I'm like, why didn't he use that? Why did I have to make a makeshift shiv when I've got the fucking bayonet on my fucking shoulder?
Even the situation where you got into the car at the end of that mission. And so did he grab that gun off of Ghost? Because that is not the gun we were carrying.
True.
That was a weird situation of where did he pull that gun from? Why couldn't he use it
although
before?
technically, I think had I not opened those safes.
Yeah.
But because I'm a completionist, I was in a level where they're like, there's all you got to do is get to this point, and it's like, yeah, but you've given me an entire level to explore. I'm going to explore that, and so I found the safe, so I upgraded my gear. But had I not, I probably would have ended that with a shotgun. No, sorry, not a shotgun, because I would have replaced the shotgun with an assault rifle, because I prefer range over big gun.
Yeah.
And I probably still would have had the handgun that I stole from the start, which would have been that handgun. So it's kind of like the cutscene plays out for people who were just like power through and didn't find the silenced 50 caliber handgun, which makes the level a lot easier. Let me say that.
Especially when those enemies are just lined up.
Yeah, it didn't stop you wasting 2 bullets.
I didn't notice it was going to. I didn't know there were 50 cals.
True, that was probably my fault. You also didn't know that the game had the mechanic for letting you kill multiple people with a single bullet.
No, I mean, they've done it in other games.
Quickly.
You staring at us for?
Move.
I know what you're talking about, and it was all your own fault.
No, it wasn't all my fault. I take the blame for most of it.
Losing the knife was your fault.
You found
You
it.
didn't lose the knife. You just strategically threw it through the hole in the truck.
Threaded the needle.
Damn lucky I found it.
You found another one.
Actually, you didn't. I think I did.
You didn't end up using a throwing knife after that.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain. Unless I looked away at some point.
No, I was pretty sure I came up against armored enemies after that, so I don't think I did. Mainly because I remember we were playing it on regular difficulty.
True.
Whereas I played it on the second hardest because that's just how I play Call of Duty games now. I've played enough of these to know that playing it on anything less makes it like a walk in the park. It's like, hello,
really
sponge,
does.
my name is Bullet.
True.
So, like, except World War II. World War II had a nice change up of weird. Let me just do this right. There we go. I was just trying to figure out why it wasn't spiking, but I might have put that on well. No, World War II had a really good system where it was like you actually used health packs.
Yes.
Like old school COD style. I don't know why we pulled away from that. I guess there was a lot of complaints from people who just used the hide to recover health instead of needing to use an item. But
yeah, we don't know.
I just think it's a little bit more strategical, you know. Like I like not having to stop in a firefight to take cover because my screen is like it's telling me that I'm hurt, and it's like got to cover until I'm healed, and it's like yeah. But then the enemies, especially now, the enemies start to do things that enemies would actually do. Like if you were in a firefight and then suddenly like quickly crash down behind this box and wait to like get, and then they started advancing on you, and it's
They'll
like
actually go around the box.
Yeah,
to kill you.
They don't just stand there anymore and go boom, boom, boom when you go. Wait, hold on, I'm getting my health back.
You don't.
Please stop.
You don't have that situation of being like, oh, that dude's going to come out from around that corner there. That dude's coming out of that alley. Especially there is still a little bit of it. It's still,
okay, let me say this though.
There are some things that change where everyone is.
You did miss this, and I don't know if it was just the hard, because I was playing on, I think, the hardcore difficulty, but there were a few sections where it's like people would walk and you're supposed to be lying there in a ghillie suit and just let them walk past you.
Yeah.
And literally, as I said, I don't know what it was, but I'd be lying there, and then they would literally like start changing where they're walking, so they would walk over me, and I'm like, oh, and then they'd find me, and it's like you gotta move to avoid being stepped on. So it's like you'd move a little bit, but then they would change their direction again and like come to where you were, and like I was like, okay, right. If I'm next to Price, they're gonna step on me. So what I'll do is, knowing where they walked through the first time, I'm like, I'll just change where I am. I'll move myself up the hill a bit and be above where they all came walking through. It puts me a bit further away from Price, and I've got to wait a bit longer, but I'm like, that'd be smart. Instead, they literally walked through like big boulders and shit, like not walked over, walked through so that they would walk over where I was lying, and I was like, okay, game, that's a bit of an issue.
I think it's more than a bit of an issue.
I'm like, that's not... I'm like, I get that the thing was, they're going to walk past you, so challenge. But I was like, you should also reward the person for like putting themselves in a place where no one's going to walk. You know,
True.
Like if let's say we were two soldiers hiding in the grass, and you were like, I'm going to drop down in the middle of this piece of long grass, but I'm in the bottom of a sort of divot, long grass, and there's nothing else around me but long grass, and a bunch of people are walking towards you, and then I go, what I'm going to do is put myself between this thick shrub and a boulder and lie here in the long grass so that they just walk below me. Like,
it should be a safe spot.
I would consider myself a lot safer than you, because you are literally in the path where they're going to go like, okay, shrubs, boulders, oh look, nothing, relatively flat ground because it's the bottom of the hill, it's the divot, and there's no obstructions there. But in the game, they're like, boulders and shrubs, we'll just walk through them, like it's no big deal. And I'm like, game,
that's an issue.
Game, what are you doing? But then, and again, I don't know if this was just because it was on hardcore and they're like, it's got to be harder. There was another point during that same mission where you're lying there and like a bunch of guys in armor get out.
Yep.
And I've got a sniper rifle, so a headshot will kill them in their armor, but I'm lying in the middle of the open. I can take about 2 bullets before I die, and there's about 5-6 of them standing around me. My even best case scenario, I don't win this gunfight.
No.
So I'm lying there, and they're supposed to get out of their car, walk through where I am. I'm supposed to avoid them. They're supposed to then go, oh, yep, okay, we've checked the area, and keep moving along and do their sweep. Again, not sure if it was hardcore. They stopped. Practically in a circle around me, and I'm like, and it's like, if you move slowly enough, you can get out without them seeing you. I'm like, okay, you have to move so slowly. Like, moving your head so you can kind of see where they are alerts them to where you are.
Oh, fuck off.
And you have to move at like, that's me. See how far my head moved in that entire time? No. Practically didn't move, but like that is the legitimate speed you have to do, and you have to cover probably about 100 meters doing that speed. And I'm like,
so
is this Call of Duty? Yeah. I'm like, is this Call of Duty padding their runtime? Hey, we get an extra half hour if they have to do this 3 times. I was just like, or is it a glitch? Or is it because I've selected to play hardcore? They're like, no, these guys aren't moving. You have to get out of this. And it's like, if it's the last one, I'm like, okay, I did say I wanted a challenge, but this is a really poor way to implement the challenge.
It is, yes.
The more realistic bullet damage is great, don't get me wrong. The fact that grenades actually, you have to be further away than a grenade than a meter, otherwise it's still dangerous. Great. Yeah. Hardcore has a lot of advantages there. It was just, hardened. That's what it is. It's hardened, not hardcore. Hardcore is the multiplayer mode I play.
Yes.
But I went, so those parts of the hardened challenge, excellent. Loved it. Really had to think before just running out into a firefight. Really had to watch where people were throwing grenades. Had to watch where I was throwing my own grenades. But then these other parts, I'm like, if this is either part of the challenge of it being hardened, I'm like, these are poorly implemented. If it's a
Yes.
glitch, please fix it. And if it's just the way the game is, oh god, that's bad. Like, that's really bad. Like, I get that it's a run and gun game, but in this mission, you're supposed to be stealthy, and punishing people for trying to play stealthy by being like, it's going to take you so much longer when it doesn't have to. Whereas if you were to run a gun, this section would be done in like 5 seconds. It's like, that's not good. Like,
it's
never punish your players for playing a mission the way you want it to be played.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid.
And 2, even though you know some of your players are not going to be able to follow, like, let's face it, not every Call of Duty player has the patience to play a stealth section of the game.
I can do a stealth section. I tend to play run and gun, but it's like, in areas where it's like, yeah, you've got to be stealthy, I will do my best to do it.
We should play Battlefield together.
We could.
It's okay, I just say that because I prefer stealthy, long-range engagements. Like, so I'm long-range assault rifles or snipers.
Normally up close, yeah.
Very rarely do I run anything that's like machine gun. Don't get me wrong, I haven't, but when I play Battlefield, it's like I prefer to keep my distance and you prefer to get close. I'm like, that would be an interesting combination in a game like Battlefield if we were working together.
Yeah.
So that's an aside.
That's why with like that type of game, that's why I always preferred like Army of Two.
Yeah.
Because it was like you, as much as you could be a little bit stealthy, you didn't really often do it. You actually relied on the other character or other player, depending if you were playing multiplayer or not, to just take the aggro.
Oh, yeah.
So that was an advantage. I liked that.
Yeah, see, no, I'm almost the opposite. We should also do some Splinter Cell because I think that would be interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I love the stealthy approach. If I can get through a mission without them ever knowing I was there, I love it. That's my jam.
Well, it's like
never knowing I was there. That is why games like, I'm trying to think, Payday 2, GTA 5 online, they get me a bit because it's like just that thing of like the second you alert one enemy, they all know.
Which is
and Payday 2's fixed that up a bit. Like, it's not as bad as Payday 1 where it was like the second you put on your mask, everyone was there. And they've given you the ability to sort of play stealthy, like sort of. It's like the pager thing. And then it's like you get 3 pages and it's like, really? And it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, no, because after the 3rd alert, they go, hey, no, we're sending someone to check it. And I'm like, no, but what they're doing is they go, hey, we saw something weird. And the guy picks up and goes, there's nothing weird here, man. You sure? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, no, everything's normal. I just, I just dropped my speaker or something. It's like, oh, okay, right. And it's like, in the real world, if you were to pay someone to get the answer and they go, yeah, no, everything's good, you don't go, okay, and then you get another false alarm, you go, are you sure? And it's like, yeah, no, it's a false alarm, man, I don't know what's going on, I'm here, nothing's wrong. Then you don't go, okay, SWAT, I'm calling SWAT.
Pretty like, straightforward.
You go like, oh, okay, like, there's a thing where it's like, you know, it doesn't sound like the person that's there, but it's like they're a big security company, I suppose, that each individual person doesn't know exactly what everyone else sounds like.
Yeah.
Or who's, I don't know. But like, I just go like, the arbitrary 3rd one, you're out. I'm just like, that's rough. Especially in like missions where it's like, you can play stealthily. It's like, okay, but to play stealthily, I have to take out like 7 guards. It's like, I can take them out stealthily, but it's like, after I take out the 3rd one, stealth's over. And it's like... Yeah.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But,
that's
and GTA is just worse because it's like, one guy sees you and goes, huh, and then you pop him in the head, but because he went, huh, everyone knows that, and it's like, first of all, he couldn't have told anyone that he saw me. He hadn't even finished saying, hey, who are you? It's like, he hadn't finished that, so
True.
doubt he was on the radio going like, "Hey, yeah, there's a weirdo. I'm seeing a weirdo," because like he had only just recognised me. Secondly, I used a silent weapon. He hadn't fired. It's like I like, if you're going to have stealth aspects in your game, make sure your stealth mechanics are solid. And it's like, and make sure like the thing is, if you don't have to go as far as like proper stealth games where they're like, you can lose the aggro once it's done, but like be like, okay, so how do you get aggro? Well, if one guard spots you and fires their weapon, then people around know because they hear the gunshot. That's not silence, but it's like if it is if they like go, hey, and it's like it's just flashed up with the I see you, and then you poof, and they're dead, and it's like
there shouldn't be anything else.
The other one, and the other big thing that I hate about games that don't have proper stealth mechanics trying to make you stealthy, no way to move bodies.
Yeah, that one's a bit of an
that one's a killer, because like you think about it, there's so many games where it's like, okay, I'm popping this person, bang, and it's like, yep, awesome. It's like, ooh, I don't really like where they are. Maybe I could just drag them like a foot, and it's like, no, they stay there. And there's like another guard walking past, oh, there's a dead guy there. And it's like, yes, because if I had been able to do what one would do in a stealth situation, which is hide the body.
I'm pretty sure like the last actual game I played that relied on stealth. Fairly well, Hitman, of course.
Yeah, it was Hitman. I was going to say, you're talking about Hitman, and that you can definitely hide bodies in Hitman.
No, I was going further. I was actually going further back than that. Then I realised it was Hitman.
Yes, well.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Does that actually force like there was areas like no, you have to do stealth.
Yeah.
You fail if you don't.
Yeah, but like that's my thing. I like games with stealth, but the stealth has to be put in. Like, I have this thing where people go, I hate stealth games. It's like, you don't hate stealth games. You hate games that don't build themselves to be a stealth game that then go to you, stealth part, and you go, God damn it. Yeah. It's like, what is it? What is the classic game that has it? I can't even remember right now. Okay. It's a run and gun game, right? Might be one of the earlier Call of Duties, but it's like run and gun. Here's your mandatory stealth section. It's like, what? This game has no stealth mechanics. The best I can do is crouch behind a wall. And it's like, yes. And it's like, that's not stealthy at all. Like, it's like it's bad. It's like, well, but it's the man. And if you're spotted over, and you're like, God damn it. And then it's like, oh, also you can't eliminate the guards. I'm like,
worse. Well,
I hate stealth sections where they're like, you can't kill anybody, and it's like, okay, I can't kill anybody. We're also not giving you the controls to be able to move stealthily. God fucking damn it. It's like, as I said, Grand Theft Auto Online is the classic example, because it's like, oh yeah, we have a button that puts you in stealth mode. Put your head forwards a little bit and walk like this. It's like, I'm still standing bolt upright, and only thing now is that I'm moving slower. So when I have to move from cover to cover, which I'm not even sticking to.
Oh, even getting to the cover is fucking pain.
But it's like when I'm moving from cover to cover.
It's like you're looking at this wall right here. It's like, okay, get to cover there. Okay, I'm going to that wall. It's like, what?
And the guy's like, hey, what are you doing?
And it's like they sprint over to the wall as well. They don't even like try to get over there stealthy. It's like, nah, I've got to get to that quick. It's like, you were right fucking there.
Yeah, as I said, like, and it's like, that's an issue. But then it's like, okay, but I'm stealthy, so I'm gonna walk really slow between these two bits of cover. And it's like, so the one time you would actually want to move fast while being stealthy, when you're out in the open, all this does is make you slow. Well done, Rockstar. You've made a great stealth system.
Oh yes, it's fantastic.
What you've done there is made the inverse of stealth. Yes.
It works when you're in a bush and like cops are after you.
Can I say though, because this is something that I think very few games do well. Splinter Cell did it pretty well, but I love when a stealth game goes, oh, you're sneaking around, but actually allows you to move fast. I don't know. have you played Splinter? How would I know what you've played?
No, I would have played it here if I played it anywhere.
Oh well, no, you haven't. There's like only the latest two have proper multiplayer modes.
I thought we looked at it at least.
Oh, we definitely looked at it because I own all of them, but like that, all of them had like well, not all of them, but some of them had the Spies vs Mercs mode.
Okay.
But the last two actually have proper multiplayer missions.
Okay.
Which are good fun. So yeah, we'll play them one day. But yeah, my point is like even in stealth, then you like when you're crouching and like doing a crouch walk, which let's not even get into crouch walks because of how crazy they are. But when you're doing that crouch walk, you don't like move like a fucking snail. You move fast, and it's like yes, because just because you're trying to be stealthy doesn't mean you're slow. It just means you're more careful with stuff like where you put your feet.
Yes.
However, there's an important part of stealth, which is don't be out in the open for long. If I'm trying to sneak somewhere, the worst thing I can do, even though it may be fast and make a bit of noise, and people go, wait, what was that noise? Like, the thing is, people, like, brush off noises all the time. Like, how many times do you lie in, like, I lie in bed all the time and I, like, hear, like, the smacking of, like, tin, like something hitting tin, and I go, I have a tin fence. I have a tin shed. It's probably just the door on the shed going. It's like, yeah, that could be someone jumping my fence. It's like, but you hear, like, people hear a noise and go, no, this is the most likely explanation for it.
It's
Or the
Russell
other people
leaves outside my window, and I just think it's the dog.
you're not sitting there going, someone outside my window. Or you're the other type of person who goes, Russell leaves, Bigfoot. So, you know, either way, making a little bit of noise is like, they're either going to think it's Bigfoot or they're going to think it was just the wind.
True.
And it's like, so ideally, making a little bit of noise and being out of the open faster is better than taking a really long time being completely silent but being out in the open, so that if anyone were to turn and go, oh, there's someone. They're crouching out in the open. I wonder what they're doing. Like, this is going completely out of the realm of video games and into like real world, but if you've ever played like games where it's like we've played a few games where it was like out on the campus at university.
Okay.
You'd play like, it'd be like a game where like someone's at a base and they're trying to spot you. If they spot you, they can call you out. But it's like, you would be surprised how many times just standing and walking and pretending that you're supposed to be there doing something avoids people going like, hey, you're not supposed to be there. And it's like,
no, I've done games like that before as well.
And it's like if you're in an area and you're just like walking across like a path or something, and someone sees you, they don't automatically think, person I need to, the bad person. They're like, oh, it's just someone walking across a path. And because they're not trying to hide the fact that they're walking across a path, they're probably supposed to be there.
It's pretty straightforward.
But yeah,
unless they've got like, unless they know exactly who they're looking for,
and
go, that's it.
And you can actually make them out, and like a lot of the time you can't make them out. Like, let's face it, once you're about like 40, 50 meters away from someone, it's like, what are their facial features? And they had a face.
There was a nose, 2 ears.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't see the other side of his head.
I'm fairly sure they had 2 eyes.
It's it's a possibility. There was a mouth there.
But yeah, as I said, like I go like, because we used to play a game called Assassin, right? Yeah. And you would watch the people running like, and they'd like hide behind things, and like the second you see someone hiding behind something, you're onto them, because like that person is acting suspicious. So like you'd see like a guy walking down the thing, and then the person who's trying to assassinate him following him, and like he'd be talking to people, doing like not even paying attention, but then the person following him would be like doing weird stuff, like walking off the path and like hiding in like next to bushes and stuff, or like hiding next to a bin, and like other people pick up on that, and then that person would like be like, what are all these people? Oh shit, that's the person who's coming for me, I've got to sprint. And then it becomes a chase. And it's like, whereas the person that's literally just walking towards you while you talk to your friends and you're not paying attention, and they're like, go ya. You're like, fuck.
It's, literally that.
I wasn't paying attention close enough to realize.
In certain situations, if you have to actually hide the fact that you've done it, just walk past them. literally just walk past and they go, okay, it's not them. Cool.
And then just turn around and in the back.
Pretty much.
But,
it's pretty
yeah.
straightforward.
Like, don't get me wrong, in the game there was a very important part for strategic, hiding. Strategic hiding. I sat in a dark room outside a library for 3 hours waiting for my target to come out so I could stab him with a knife.
How long did the game last? Or is it just you started it and it was go about your normal day?
Okay, so pretty much the game works like this. You start it, you play for about 3 weeks, and at the end of that, hopefully, we're down to the last 2 people.
Makes sense.
I was really annoyed the year that I came third, because I came third, and they went, oh, well, the last 2 people are the last 2 people, they each get half a carton of beer. And I was like, what? And everyone's like, what? Like, all the seniors are like, what? And all the juniors are like, oh, that makes sense, because they can't kill each other. And it's like, no, they can. That's the best part. Right. Once you get down to the final 2, it becomes a game of
each other, yeah.
It becomes a game of who can get the jump on the other person, because you can't just walk up to them and be like, haha, like you've been doing earlier, because
they know.
The second you pull your weapon on them, they pull their weapon on you, and it's just whoever hits first. No one wins that. It's like, so it takes real strategy. You've got to be the guy that's like, okay, he's here, I've got to kid him by surprise. But they're like, no, that'll take too long. We're like, that's how it's been every year, and it's the best part, because everyone else is dead at this point. We get to watch the last 2 people fall into a pit of paranoia.
Yes.
Who can I trust? Who has got my back? Because, like, of course, the rules were that if you were with other people from the game, you were safe.
True, yeah.
So, like, okay, so there were safe zones. Your bedroom was a safe zone, so you were always safe when you were sleeping. No one could just walk in and cut your throat. Bathrooms were safe.
Makes sense.
The library, which is why I had to wait outside it.
Okay,
The church, because a lot of people were religious, and they'd go in there like midnight and do like a midnight vigil by themselves. It's like, it's a holy place, pay respect, don't go in there and try and kill them.
Yeah.
And the dining hall. Then
Makes sense.
anyone who knew the game was considered a safe spot, because you could not kill your target in front of anyone who knew the game.
Okay. Yeah.
So of course you travel in groups, right? That's because your group. Anyone outside the game wasn't safe. Nothing on campus was safe.
Yeah.
That was it. So safe space were several around the college, and pretty much other people who were in on the game.
Okay.
So pretty much everyone in the college. And anyone else was, even if it was a friend outside of college who knew you were playing the game, they weren't a safe space. And it's like, so when you got down to the last 2, it became a real thing, because every single person in college was a safe space. So, hey, I've got to go to class. Are you guys going to class? Awesome. I'll go with you guys. Can't be killed in front of you. However, those people might betray you, and suddenly, you're walking to campus and all of them just disappear into the crowd. And you're there by yourself, and you go, holy crap, I've been set up, and off you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such an anticlimactic ending, because we were like final 2, okay? And like I'd gotten to third because pretty much at the time I only had to leave for classes, and I was the last senior left, so all the seniors were on my side.
Makes sense.
And I was sold out by Bunghead. Fucking Bunghead.
I don't know, but
Cow. That's why we went hard at him for that.
oh wait, you've mentioned him before.
Cow. Yeah, his head wasn't wrong. It was just a bit bum.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went, Cow, you sold out your floor, Cow. Cow and I did, and it was an individual game. And I'm like, Cow, do you think I wouldn't have shared the beers with the boys? And he was like, wait, would you? I'm like, Cow, I'm 6th floor for life, mate. And he's like, oh damn, you might have shared the beer with the boys. I'm like, I might have, but now we'll never know.
You fucked up.
Like, yeah, and everyone on 6th floor was like, Cow, you traitor. They're like, Darcy could have won this. He has a 1-day week. He could literally have spent the rest of the time in his bedroom.
He could have, actually, he could have.
The only reason I was out of my bedroom is I was doing my washing. No one except Cal, the only person who saw me leave the floor. And then my person came up and I was like, Rakib, another guy from 6th floor, the one who lives here now, my other Rocky boy, he was literally in the next room and he was like, I saw him walk past and went, that's weird. He goes, I stuck my head out and watched him go in and I went, he goes, I thought nothing of it. And then he goes, and then I heard the commotion. So I was like standing there with my fucking washing bag, like swinging it, and I'm like, dude, fucking stay away from me. Because the rule is, you've got to get them with your weapon. Your weapon is something this to this long, and you have to touch them with it. And it has to be the same weapon for the whole game. So like mine was like, I had a little piece of timber which I shaped into a dagger, and then I wrote the names of everyone I killed on them. Like a serial killer.
Yes.
But yeah, so he had like this little like piece of like twisted metal, and he's like trying to get me with it. I'm just like, fuck, keep that away from me. And like, people like walked in 1 second too late, and he was just like, damn. He's like, Darcy, you should just come up with me. And I was like, no one saw me leave the floor except, and we went. And I looked at Rowan, and I'm like, who told you? He's like, Cal sent me a message. I'm like, it's time for the boys to get him. Gonna round me up an old posse. Well, me and Ricky just walked out and like everyone's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm dead. And they're like, what? And they're like, I'm like, there's a traitor among us. And Cal's just like, look, I just wanted the game to end.
Why?
But yeah, I like it's one of the funnest games. Like Assassins is such a fun game, but you kind of
good.
You need a big group of people, and you need someone who's willing to run it, because the person running it obviously can't be an assassin. Because no one's allowed to know who anyone else's target is. Helps the paranoia.
Solid.
It's like, hey Nick, do you want to go and get cookies? And Nick's like, yeah, let's go get cookies, because this is something we did all the time. And then me and Nick stand there and like, hey Dookie, you want to get cookies? And Nick's like, why are we getting cookies? It's like, me and Nick get cookies all the time. It's like, you never invite me before. And it's like, oh, you guys are playing Assassins. And we're like, yep. He's like, and you can't trust each other? And we're like, nope. He's like, do I get free cookies out of this? We're like, yes. You can have some of our cookies. However, we need you to escort us to Subway, because neither of us can trust each other. Or it'd be like the dinner time rush, and like everyone's like standing in the doorway of their bedroom looking, and it's like, one person, once you've got like 3 people looking out, it's like, dinner. Then someone else, dinner. And like 4 people walk out of their rooms, and it's like, we're safe now.
Yes.
But it's like, you're like looking there, and it's like, dinner, and no one else is there, and you're like, and then someone else pops out, oh, dinner, and you're like, I can wait.
Hang on.
I'm good.
You can stay right there.
Or the really bad ones where you like walk up to your room and you're like, pop your head out, and then you see someone from a different floor like going into someone else's room, and you're like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm just doing work with so and so. It's like, unlikely story. You just stay there, will you? You stay in there. You don't come anywhere near my room. I'm safe in here. And they're like, I'm safe in here.
No way.
Paranoia, massive. Like, just jump. It explodes. It's like, literally. And because we all lived together, it was just like fucking crazy. It was like, what are you doing? It's like, I just want food. It's like, yeah. Oh, that's right. The other safe place was if you were on the door, because the door, you were working, letting people in and out, and it's like, you were there by yourself the entire shift, and it's like, what happened was one year they didn't make it a safe place, so literally the person who was like, it was a weirdo. It was like one of the weirdos who like took it super seriously. Like, he wouldn't let people in unless there were more than 2 of them there, just in case they try to kill him. So like people were like, let me in, I need to get in, and he'd be like, who's with you? No one. You can stay out there. I was like, what? No, I need to get in. I need to go to my room and get some work done. Not until you've got another person.
You can wait or get someone else.
You can call someone to come down, and once they're in the lobby, I will let you in. But no, because he was like convinced that someone would walk out so they could come back when he was on door duty and kill him. And I was like, yeah, no, probably for the best that we changed that to a safe place, because as someone who would often like be coming back at like 7 o'clock at night by myself, or be like, oh, it's 11:30, I'm gonna be up for the next 4 hours. Midnight Mac is run, and like, you know, you put the post out, guys, Midnight Mac is run, who's in? Meet in the lobby. And like sometimes you get the people, sometimes you wouldn't, so you might go solo, and I'm like, fucking waiting outside until fucking 12 o'clock because you're afraid of someone killing
fuck off.
you. Because you're afraid.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, no, it was hilariously funny though. Like,
Oh,
just the seniors from like the 2 years before when it happened, like explaining why it was now a safe place. So the door's a safe place. Why is the door a safe place? The door's a safe place because of this reason. It's like, god damn it, someone actually did that? Yes. He got in a lot of trouble. We're just like, yeah, no, I can understand why.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, you can come and go whenever you like, as long as it's the door is, as long as it's like, because we had curfew because we were the sensible college.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
We weren't like the Kenzos and all the others who were like, you can just come in and scan to get in whenever you feel like. And our college was like, yeah, look, we could do that, but we prefer everyone to feel like super comfortable and know that no one's just like bringing like 20 of their friends in at midnight.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
It's like, so we have a door person, and that door person lets our people in, and so on a weeknight, so Sunday through Thursday,
Yes.
12 o'clock curfew. If you're not back by 12, don't bother coming back. Come back at 6 in the morning.
Fair.
And then Friday, Saturday nights. Maybe Thursday nights wrong. Maybe Thursday had a 2 o'clock. But it was a 2 a.m. curfew. And like everyone was like, all the other colleges were like, you guys have a curfew, and we're like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. If you're not back by 2 o'clock in the morning, you're not coming back before 7. It's fucking 5 hours. You can do whatever the fuck you want for 5 hours. It's Sydney. The city's alive.
True.
It's not Rockhampton. It's not like, shit, it's past 2 o'clock.
Can't do it.
I have to sit in the dark for 5 hours. It's like, it's Sydney. It's like, oh, I missed cutoff. I'm going into the city for a couple of hours. Fuck. I'll go to an Apple store. I can just chill with the Apple geniuses and make fun of them. So you're a genius, eh? Eh? No, but like, as
Do
I
this
said, like,
equation for me.
I have an assignment. You guys are pretty smart, right? But no, we used to fucking just be like all the other colleges would make fun of us because like we can come back whenever we feel like, and we're like,
Okay.
I'm like, and your point is, as they used to say, if you lived on the campus of UNSWs, you had to give up one of your Bs. The all-male college that I went to, or right, you had to give up your bitches.
Yeah.
The new college
Mhm.
was dry. You had to give up booze. They did not allow alcohol on their campus.
Shit.
And we were like, that's worse. Seriously, it's like, we can go out. And we can hook up outside of college. It's like, not being allowed to have a Friday night brew? No.
Fuck off. No.
Not being allowed to be like, yeah, there's a party next weekend. I'm going to grab 2 fucking cases of beer and stash them in my room so that I have something to drink. Like, no. Shalom, the Jewish college, bacon.
Yeah.
Again, something that you could easily give up but prefer not to.
Yeah.
And the Kensington colleges, which were all the ones run by the university, you gave up your bachelor's degree. No, that's a joke. There were studious people there. I knew a few of them, but like we would say it's the 4. You got to give up one of the 4 Bs.
Yeah.
They were like booze, bitches, bacon, or your bachelor's degree, and everyone was like, that doesn't make sense. Bachelor's, and it's like they're the party colleges. You go to those colleges, they're pretty much always in a party. It's like you give up your hope of passing your degree. But yeah, so
That's one way to look at it.
So yeah, the 4 Bs. Because it used to be the 3 Bs of lower campus. Like you had to give up one if you lived on the lower campus.
Okay.
When the Kensingtons and all the Kensington colleges reopened, we were like, yeah, well, the us lower colleges, as they called us, the lower campus colleges, we were like, They're like, oh, you got to give up one of the B's to go there. And we're like, well, what do you guys give up? They're like, nothing. We're like, we want to pay you bachelor's degrees. And so it just stuck. The lower campus colleges were like, yeah, if you go to the Kenzo, you should give up your bachelor's degree. That's the B that they sacrifice. But yeah, no, it was good fun. As I say, I love my time in college. It taught me a lot of stuff, like the game Mafia, the game Assassins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Didn't I learn about architecture while I was there? Which is odd, because that's what I was studying. I learned a lot about games.
Yes.
Not so much about... what was I studying? Honestly, I had so much fun in Sydney. And I have always been a big thing of like, I don't believe that you should go to university just because you don't want to trade. That's ridiculous to me. Like, hey, what are you going to do in the future? Oh, I'm going to be a receptionist. Oh, yeah. You going to go to university and study reception? Oh, no, whatever. You're going to go to university and study business so that you can be a receptionist? No. Well, but you've got to, otherwise you won't get a job as a receptionist because they want a degree. It's like, it's a receptionist. If I had a degree in business, I would be over fucking qualified.
You would be, yeah.
That's my feeling on like going to university because you have to go to university. Here's my other feeling though, which is like almost the exact opposite. Everybody should try going to university because the university life is something that you cannot experience anywhere else. It's like, okay, think about it like this, right? Me and my mates at university spent the weekend drinking.
Yeah.
It was a university party, or just typical university students being university bums.
Yeah.
In Rockhampton, you and the guys who never went to university do exactly the same thing. You're alcoholics.
Hey, look. What? I'm an alcoholic. I'm a binge drinker.
Don't need the alcohol, I just prefer it.
No.
Because that's what makes you an alcoholic, right? Needing the alcohol to get through the day. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't need it to get through the day. I just prefer to have it with me at all times.
I don't even know the last time I bought a bottle of alcohol.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am out of Voodoo Ranger, which is really sad to me. Like I'm not really sure where I can get more of it.
Alcoholic.
Kris.
Yeah.
It's like the nitroglycerin. I don't need it. I don't want to use it. I just want to have it, so that it is mine.
Okay,
and
fine.
I can hold it. No, but I was like, I said, like it's just a different type of living, and it's like everyone should experience at least 1 year of like living on a university campus and living that university life.
Maybe one day.
But not everybody should go to university because, let's face it, let's be true, not every job requires a university degree. And in fact, a lot of jobs are like, sorry, have you been to university? It's like, no, because if I'd been to university, I wouldn't be applying for your fucking job. I'd be applying for a job much higher and better paid than what you were offering.
Very true.
It's kind of like, you don't have a degree. It's like, if I did, I wouldn't be working here.
No.
It's like, let's be fair. The way we're heading, it's like, do you have a degree? No. I didn't think I needed one to be a checkout chick. No, you do. And it's like,
you practically have to be an accountant.
Yeah. Oh, you have an accounting degree? You can be a great checkout chick. No, I'm actually your boss because I have an accounting degree. What do you have? Oh, nothing. Because back when I got the job, you didn't need them. And then I became a manager through on-the-job training.
Step the fuck down.
It's like, oh, right, so I've been to university, but you're telling me that you got your job without going to university, but I need to go to university to have a job under you.
Just pretty much what they're saying.
It's kind of like, that's a bit stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, Kris, it's very stupid.
It is.
I just go like, yeah, it annoys me to no end because it's like, we pretty much tell kids today, you have to go to university. And it's like, why? It's like, oh, are you going to get a trade? No. Then you have to go to university. Why?
Depends on what
Because
you want to do. Not everything requires you to go to university.
That's the two career choices that schools prepare us for. Go and get a trade, go to university.
Barely prepare us for.
Well, Kris, if they don't prepare us for that, they don't prepare us for anything.
They prepare us so much.
Because if they don't prepare us to go to university or get a trade, they do nothing. Oh, they do nothing.
They do fuck all.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
They teach you how to speak, right? And
do they teach you how to speak?
some people fail so much with that. It is ridiculous. Some of us did actually learn. Looking at you, Nick.
Did Nick learn?
How many
I was going to say I didn't. I don't think I learned. I'm pretty sure I just already knew it all.
I mean, yeah. Or I should say,
Maybe it's
speak
back.
properly.
It's not over there. So my ego must be back in because it's not over there.
Oh, you're right. It's not over there.
Oh, trust me. You, I don't know why you looked around the corner. You'd know.
Maybe it like became like super compressed and was hiding around the corner.
I think you'd feel the gravitational pull if it compressed itself.
Oh yeah, good point.
Hey Darcy, why are we lying on the ground over here? Here you go. No.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, but like that was my whole thing. Like I was always kind of like when people are like, "Whoa, what did you learn in school?" It's like, okay, I definitely knew they were teaching me stuff.
Very little, but I actually need.
If I know they were teaching me stuff, and if I hadn't gone to classes, I probably wouldn't have known it. However, is it really teaching if they write one example and then you're like, okay, so that's how that works, understood?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's
It's like, is that really teaching, or is that just me learning from reading it?
it's pretty much just learning from reading it.
Yeah.
Which,
No,
let's
look,
face
as
it,
I said-
a lot of the stuff that we learned in school, I have never used again.
I have.
I haven't.
I'm a math student.
Okay, yes, you have for that reason alone, but yes, I've used.
Oh, look,
I've retained a lot of the knowledge and just I can bring it up randomly, but otherwise, I'm bringing it up randomly. That's it.
I have, as my time as a tutor, I have told pretty much all the kids that I work with, especially when we're talking about English, I'm like, I didn't learn to write an essay until I went to university. And like, once I went to university, they were like, this is how you write an essay, and I went, oh shit, that's easy. Writing essays is super easy. I'm like, in high school, I dreaded writing essays because I was like, they're so fucking hard, and I was like, because they just go, oh, write an essay, and it's like, how do you write an essay? Oh, you just write an essay. And it's like in university, they're like, oh, well, here's how you write an essay, here's what you do, and it's like, oh shit, that makes sense. I'm like, was it because I was older, wiser, more open to learning it there? Or was it just because in high school, they don't teach you shit and they just like, do it? Or how do I do it? Oh, well, you do it kind of like this, and it's like, right. But as I said, like, essays used to be this terrifying thing to me. It's like, I've only got 2 weeks to write a 500-word essay. Shit. I better get started because it's going to take me forever. And then, like, in university, it was just like, oh shit, I've got a 2,000-word essay due in 3 hours? Fuck. I should start that in an hour.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you just go like, writing essays is easy. It's just high school doesn't teach you how to do it. And they make it seem like it's this big, scary thing. And it's like, no, it's not. It's just writing an essay. And it's like,
Yeah.
they're really easy if you know what you're doing. Unfortunately, it takes getting out of high school for someone to go like, oh yeah, so this is how you do it. And you go, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that was perfect. That's perfectly sensible.
Yeah.
Why didn't they teach me this in high school? No one knows.
No one knows. They literally had to learn how to write an essay to get their degree to teach you, and then didn't teach you.
And then it's like, and as I said, like, English. I hate English because I'm just like, no. As I said to one of the people I was working with today, I was like, he asked me about his English thing, and I said, the trick with English is that they ask you the question stupidly. They ask you shit like, what do you think this person meant when they wrote this? And it's like, irrelevant. The real question that they're asking you is, why do you think this?
Yeah.
And it's like, but to make the system sound smarter and like it's actually working, they try and pose questions to you in ways that are like, oh, but you, and it's like I said, I had to I've done art and a little bit of English over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And like my art stuff I was just talking to like the person doing it, and I was just like, do you want to know the secret to all of these questions? Because this question's like, explain
the dumbest question.
Explain how your use of colours gets the point of your piece across. And I was like, and why? Why? And I was like, okay, so basically they're saying, why did you choose these colours? And like she was like, well, blue's my favourite colour. I'm like, that's a perfectly valid reason. I'm like, however, no one's going to accept that. I'm like, it's a perfectly valid reason. I fully understand. They're not going to accept it if you just write that. So what you say is, I put a piece of myself into it by choosing blue because it's my favourite colour. I'm like, and you look at that and an art teacher goes, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
You said you put a piece of yourself into it, and it's like, whereas if I was just like, blue's my favourite colour, so I use it, they'd be like, no, that's not good enough. It's like, it's all just about how you word shit. And I'm like, and that's the most annoying thing about it. I just sit there with like art, especially because I've done a bit with my students, and I was just like, and they're like, oh, I don't get what to do, and I'm like, I can't really help you because art is subjective. Like, I can tell you what I think, but that's not what you think. I'm like, but here's the big trick with it. If you can explain why you did something, they can't fail you. And they're like, what? I'm like, they can't say you're wrong because they're asking what you think. And they don't know what you think. I'm like, and if they were to fail you, god damn it, I would fight it tooth and nail. Now that comes from going to university where you actually get told, oh yeah, you don't have to accept what the teacher says. If the teacher could be wrong, you can actually fight their opinion because you think that you've explained why you've done this thing well enough, and just because they can't understand it doesn't mean that they're right. It just means that they can't understand what you've said.
Pretty much.
It's like, and you can fight that. Whereas in high school they're like, oh no, if the teacher can't understand it, you're wrong. It's like, well, no.
They can't understand.
It's like the teacher doesn't get what I'm trying to say, or why I'm saying it, or the teacher just doesn't agree that what I'm saying is correct. That's wrong. They can't tell me that I'm right or wrong about my own opinions.
Some of the theory in art was absolute shit. Dude, when I did it. It was.
We were working on this thing, and it's like, what did you do to express your thing? And I was like, they made a clay mask, and I was like, I was just like, that's such a stupid question. Why? How did your use of this express your desire or intent in the art? And it's like, I'm like, they're year 7. They use what they use because they're year 7 art. They just want to get it done.
Wait, they were doing that in grade 7?
Yeah.
What the?
Bosch school.
That makes more sense.
But yeah, no,
I was going to say, it's like grade 7. Like, I assume it's going to be the same as grade 8. A lot of that was literally just do it, and we'll mark it on what we think.
As I said, I don't mind it. I don't mind them asking you because it's like, we made this. I made this mask. I'm going to come back over this way. I made this mask, and it's like, what's it a mask of? It's a mask of this. Why is it? Why did you choose this? Because of this. But I just also find getting to explain what you've done, not just them looking and going, I don't like it.
Pretty much, yeah. I can understand that. It's like
but the questions are so stupid because it's like, how did you your intent and expression, and how did you express your intention? And it's like, year 7, they're doing. Most of these kids are doing art because they have to. Don't be asking them questions like, oh, how did you express your intention? A lot of these kids literally went, I need to make a mask. They didn't go, okay, so what is my intention behind the art I'm about to do? I'm like, it's fine to ask them that afterwards. It's fine to ask them once they've understood what they're supposed to do. Like, and I was talking to the student, and I was just like, I'm like, this question, because of course the question, how would you do it differently? What did you learn from it? Those were the last 2 questions of the art project, and I was like, these are the questions. Really, that should be the only questions.
Yes.
What did you find difficult? What did you learn? Because what did you find difficult is pretty much asking you, what would you change next time?
Pretty much.
And having done it once, you can then go, you know what, maybe I would have come in with the plan. Because I can guarantee you 90% of year 7 is just like, I need to make something because this is the project. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even want to study art. I'm just here because I have to be. Yeah. And then I was like, once they've done it and they actually understand the process a little more, then they can think about things like, oh yeah, if I was doing this again, maybe I would actually make a plan before going in, and not just going like, okay, I like this shape, and okay, that's my mask.
Yeah.
Where it's like, maybe I would have had a plan. It's like, those are the important questions. Make them reflect on what they've done. Then you can go, here's the mask, is it any good? Yes, no, whatever, your choice. But then actually look at them and go, oh, this kid actually reflected on what they've done, so whether or not I like the mask, they've reflected on what they've done really well. That's what I'm grading on.
And that makes sense. It's like
as opposed to, oh, this kid made a crappy mask, hasn't even thought about their answers, like they haven't reflected on what they've done, fail.
It's like
whereas this kid made a crappy mask, but they've really thought about how they could improve next time. They've actually thought about the process. Awesome. High mark.
So in grade 12, you got a bit more freedom. They give you a topic.
Yeah.
They don't give you, you're doing a mask. It's like, do a topic. And
my point is,
you went through it, and my thing is, I came up with the idea because it was connection for the first semester of grade 12, disconnection for the second.
Right.
And you just did something. So I was playing a lot of Black Ops 2 at the time. So we were playing COD Zombies all the time. So like, I'll do a zombie. It's not quite living, not quite dead, but sort of connected to both. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go with that. And then the teacher told the teacher, and she's like, oh, I think that'd be better as a disconnection because it's not quite either of them. Like, oh, okay, I suppose I'll leave it till disconnection then. Did it for the disconnection, wrote the whole thing out for it. I get it back, and one of the comments on it was, I don't think this really fits disconnection. It probably would have worked better as connection. I'm like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, that's
it's like
shit though.
I only stopped it. I dropped the idea for connection because
you told me to.
Well, not because you told me to, is you convinced me it would have been better as the second one.
Yeah, that's kind of that's that subjective nature of art. But I was just like, it's year 7. I'm like, the level in which you actually start asking people to consider what they're doing in art and like ask them about the intention of the art and all that shit. That's year 9 art. That's the art where you've actually chosen to continue doing it. This is something I want to look into. You know,
Grade 10.
I thought with year 7 that they kind of pushed the more selective stuff to year 9. Because
unless they've changed now, it was grade 10 when we went.
I guarantee they've changed now because of the way the future paths are set up. Now it's like year 10 is literally getting you ready for year 11 and 12 because year 11 and 12 are considered pretty much one giant study thing now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if you're in year 11 now, what you are doing is pretty much just getting you ready for year 12. Like, I know that's how it's always kind of worked, but it's more like, it's not like, year 11, okay, you're done year 11, now remember some of that stuff because it'll be important when we go to learn more about it next year. It's like, year 11, finish your first module, yep, that's actually the first module, finish your last module, that's the first module for year 12.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's a lot more connected, so I'm like, at year 10 isn't the time to be, so what do you want to do? It's more the time to be like, you need to have chosen what you want to do because this is getting you ready for the next 2 years where it's like, no, this is full on and intense. So that's why I think it's year 9 now, but I could be wrong.
I mean, it'd be smart.
It would be
It would be a lot smarter.
Especially considering they pretty much get an extra year of high school now with year 7.
True.
So it's like, that year 8, like, okay, let me say this, I think year 7 is great that it's in high school. I will fight any Queenslander who's like, oh no, it's terrible, they should still be in primary school, they're still kids. It's great because it gives you that year of being awkward and weird and not fully understanding how high school works. Then 3 years to get you to become fully like in the high school system, get it, understand it, be fine before your 2 formative years. Instead of 1 year to kind of get used to it, 2 years in between. Mind you, one of those years is, come on, time to get serious, then your 2 big ones. And it's like,
pretty much.
More time is always good.
My thing is, I came into it right because I went, one of the private schools I went to in Mackay, they pretty much, it's like, because it was prep through grade 12.
Yep.
As soon as you got to grade 6, they were like, okay, we're going to start adding in like man arts. You're going to a specific art lesson. You're going to more specific stuff. Then in grade 7, they stopped putting you with the lower, so anything below grade 7.
Yeah.
So your lunch now changed. It wasn't with the primary school, it was with senior school.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because they were like, we're preparing you for high school.
Yeah.
And then you started doing more classes that involved you going.
I can't remember how it worked here, but I remember back in Victoria we would go. You would have joint classes, so you'd have a year 1 and 2 class, year 3 and 4 class, year 5 and 6 class.
I don't think any of the ones in this school did.
Yeah.
Every other school I had is you'd see the occasional ones here and there. It wasn't every year that did it, but
But anyway, I just said though, like my big thing was, I think it's a great idea that year 7 is high school now, because I think it gives you that extra time. It's a change that's hard to get used to, no matter when it happens. Let's be fair, like going from primary school where it's like everyone comes to you to high school where it's like, seriously, understand you're going to be running around this place all day.
yeah, and also this school, that's sort of what they did.
It's a big difference, but
it wasn't constant.
it has to happen. 1, it has to happen, and 2, I think it's better to happen a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So that you've got more time to adjust to it before. Like, I think there's a lot of issues with a lot of things, especially when it comes to kids. Like, the second they turn 18, being like, oh yeah, here's all the responsibilities of being an adult. P.S. You've had none of them. Now all of them are laid on top of you, and seriously,
you have no idea what you're doing.
no one's explaining any of this to you. Just here's all your responsibility. Deal with it. It's terrible. Like, absolute shit.
It's like, what was it, grade 10? They had like a work ed class. It's like, that was fucking useless.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It taught you literally nothing. It's like, oh, you've got work experience. Like, okay.
Yeah, no,
That's the closest thing that you got to learning anything about the
No, yeah,
workforce.
I will tell you a funny story about that.
And even
I
when
did
you
work
got
at-
there, they just treated you as if you were a student.
child.
It's like
you weren't even treated as like an intern or someone who was actually supposed to be there because you shouldn't have been. You were year 10.
Yeah.
And they are a professional business, and they're like, you're not a university student. You know, this is like, someone asked a year 10 student, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they went, I want to be this, without any realization of what that actually involves, and then go and work in a business. And I was always envious of the kids whose like parents ran a business, and they're like, I'm doing work out at my parents' business, and their parents were like, just stay home. Seriously, don't come into our business. We don't want you there.
Well, you had to go in at least twice.
Yeah, well,
Because there was a whole thing of like a teacher showing up, not necessarily the teacher.
See, this is where they go. I went and did it at a government department because I was like architecture, and so one of the government departments was project services, and they do a lot of the architecture and planning for like businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
No teacher ever showed up to my thing.
Which makes sense.
Yep. No teacher ever showed up, even though like the teacher's going to show up to make sure you're there. No teacher ever showed up, and I was like,
it's probably because it was they
Mind
weren't
you.
even allowed to.
probably not.
But mine,
This is what I found really funny, like super funny. I was a year 10 kid working this thing, and like literally one day they're like, oh man, we don't really know what to do with you. Like one day I was like, I just drew a house plan up, and they're like, draw up a house plan, man. Spend the day doing that, so I did that. I got to use the draft boards and everything, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Then the next day they're like, oh yeah, we're setting up a presentation. Can you just run down to the paint shop around the corner and just grab a bunch of their sample plates so we have like sample colours? And I was like, yeah, sure. So like fucking year 10 kid just roaming the streets of the town when I'm supposed to be doing work experience. I'm like, okay, whatever. This is what they've sent me to do.
It's exactly
It's like, and that's what they would send interns and stuff to do, and other people who work for them. And I'm like, they really don't know how to deal with the student, because if the school found out that a work experience place would be like, yeah, just go out by
Just
yourself.
go out by yourself. Don't even worry about anything.
They'd be like, you can't do that, you're a student. And I was like, but yeah, as I said, no teacher ever came, and I was just like, yeah, that's about right.
I know that a teacher showed up for mine because they ended up coming in and having a chat. And I was like, okay.
Where was yours?
It was just at Bunnings.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I was going to say, for ones, I guarantee you they went to the ones where they were like, this is some place where someone could easily just not show up.
Yeah.
Although, how did that work?
What do you mean?
Bunnings would have had to pay you, wouldn't they? So you were at Bunnings
Yes.
doing the work you would always do
Yep.
for free.
Yeah.
So you were doing slave labour. Work experience.
Yeah, legitimately, I was like putting away stock. I believe I helped someone with the relay.
Fuck.
I'm like,
This is all shit that you would have been paid for had you been there on work time.
It's like legitimately just given Tracy's password, and like, so I could do the labels. Like, I was literally
No, I see. My thing was, I
His
was
normal
there.
job.
Like, okay, my thing was, I wasn't doing a normal job. Like, I wasn't doing anything that they would actually have someone there doing.
No.
Like, even my walk down to the thing, that would have been something one of them would have done on their lunch break, because there were 3 guys in the area. That would have been something they did on lunch break. Me spending a day drawing up a house plan is not something they would actually give to an intern or something. It was like, literally, dude, we have nothing for you. Do you just want to draw up a house plan? Because the guy that you're supposed to be working with isn't here today. Then another day they were like, hey, this guy needs to go out to check the Yeppoon hospital that's currently being built. Do you want to go for a drive with him? I was like, yeah. Like, we have nothing else for you to do, so jump in the car, go for a drive, see what a work site's like, I suppose. Now, so, like, had I been there in an actual work role, I would have actually been doing a lot of different stuff. So I wasn't there working. Like, I was there for like 6 hours a day, and then I would like walk down and go home with Mum, because she worked at the floor below. But
Works.
like, these guys were like, I was like, yeah, okay, that's fair. But for you and for other people who were like doing work experience at actual like businesses where they were actually doing proper work, I'm like, that's just slave labor.
100%
That's just slave labor, because I've got a year 10 in here doing it because they have to do it for their studies. I don't have to pay them. Normally, to do this work, I would have to pay someone to do it.
So
They're not just like, you weren't just shadowing a manager and like being, which then be like, this is my office, this is where I work. Oh, look at me typing things up. It was like, you were just there doing the job you would later have.
So what happens now is like back then it was like
It's really bad.
they didn't have too many. I think they only
Oh,
had
actually,
like
before you
one
go
or
on,
two.
let me
Yeah.
quickly, I want to know the story about that. The day before all of the work and stuff was due, the teacher's like, I haven't seen any of your work all year. There is no way you're passing this class, because of course I would play Diablo 2 instead of doing the work. And I was like, no. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. And she was like, no, there's no way you can possibly get all the work done before it's due tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Considering
There's no way in hell. And she went, so you're failing this class. And I was like, oh, am I?
considering everyone's answers should be the same.
And
Because it's literally, in a lot of it was like written up on the board, and it's like, yeah, they're the answers.
yeah.
Write them down.
Don't get me wrong, I was sitting there, and when she was like, you can't pass it, I was like, are you fucking joking? This stuff is super easy. I'm like, not only can I pass it, I can pass it, and I still won't work on it tonight. And she was like, you can't pass it, and I'm like, bullshit. I did it in like an hour on a computer, in a computer session. Like, literally, and then I was just like, submit, and it was like, and then like, yeah, I was like, oh, look at that, I passed it. Funny how easy your shit is.
It's pretty much what I did with grade 12 outdoor rec as well.
Oh, outdoor rec. Don't even get me started on outdoor rec.
I legitimately was like,
Skinner, yes. What's the
Thanks.
answer? I don't know. Oh, you're gonna make me think about this. Yes. Fine. If we answer these 2 questions, you want to play Diablo? Yeah. Okay. Sweet. You want to play Diablo?
it's pretty much just what happened with us was like, the teacher would literally write it all up on the board.
Yeah.
So that all the answers were there. So literally all I had to do was like, oi, Charlie.
Skin.
Oi, Charlie. Give me the answers. Oh, I've got to finish these 2 questions. It's like, yeah, plenty of time. Give me the answers.
Dude,
Because that was at a point where I was like, oh, I had my license, so it was literally the point of, oh, I don't actually need to be here. I need to be here for this one class because I can get all these answers for this later. I would literally go to that class, send a message to Mum, like tell them I can leave. She would then call the school, tell them I could leave. I'd go sign out and leave.
That's why you're a dummy. No, I just remember fucking, what was it? Outdoor rec. Outdoor rec's fucking Harper. We had Harper, and he'd always be like, you guys finish your work, you can go out. And it's like, okay.
Solid.
And then me and Skinner, who we used to call Skin in outdoor rec because fucking Harper called him Skin one day. We're like, oi, Skinner. And I was like, yeah, Skin. And we're like, Skin? Skin? So,
It is.
But yeah, so like, because me and Skinner, like, he was a jackass, but fucking, like, one of those guys who like, God damn it, Skinner, you're such a jackass. And he'd be like, haha, because he like literally enjoyed making my life miserable because he knew he was faster than me. And I was like, oh, you're such a jackass. But then as I look back on it, I'm like, fuck, he was a great mate. But me and him were in the same grad class and we were just in there and we were like, said we could go out if we finished all our work. I'm like, but he's not checking the work. We're like, so we're done. He's like, hey, you guys finished? We're like, yeah, we just logged off. You can't, come on, we just logged off. And he's like, oh, guys, you know I'm supposed to check it before you go. I'm like, sir, would we lie to you? Yeah, you're probably right, off you go. And we're like, thank you, sir. Like, we would, and then like at the end of the thing, we're like, so we haven't done any of this. He goes, what? Oh man, no, don't worry, it's all really easy. You'll be able to knock it out in one class. And we're like, sweet. He's like, you guys, and then like, so like the last week of school, he's like, you guys have got to knock all this stuff out before. He goes, but once you're done, you can just go out and like do sport with the other classes. He's like, anyone who hasn't finished, this last week is for you to get time on the computers to finish it. And me and Skinner like, okay, yeah, we got to finish this stuff, like first lesson. I'm like, so I think I'm done. He looked at it, he's like, yeah, that's all good. And I'm like, so this is a year's worth of work and I've done it in 45 minutes. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, that's not good. He's like, nah, it's all good. Do you want to go out? And I'm like, I'll send in 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, you can probably like, I think they're in the hall. I'm like, okay. Walked to the hall. I was like, Harbour was like the best, but also the worst.
yeah.
Oh, fuck. We just had so much fun. He'd like come in one day and be like, what are you guys doing? You're just being loud and obnoxious. I'm like, well, what are we supposed to do? He's like, I thought that you guys were supposed to be in the computer room. We're like, no one told us we were supposed to be in the computer room. He was like, wait, did it? Oh, fuck. We're supposed to be in the computer room. But like, because like at the end of every class, we're like, remember guys, we're meeting at the computer room next week so that we can do the work. And like, I remember one day we're like all out playing sport and he's like out there with us. He's like, wait, guys, we're supposed to be in the computer room. Like, sir, we're already out here playing sport. He's like, oh, that's a good point. Okay, but next class we're in the computer room for sure. So we rock up at the class and he's like, okay guys, you ready? We're like, sir, can we go out and play sport? He's like, yeah, that sounds like good. Get out there. He's like, guys, we're supposed to be in the computer room. Like, Harbour, you classic scallywag. Because you would just be like, sir, can we play sport? He's like, yeah, okay, yeah. No, we're supposed to be in the computer room. We're like, sir, but you've already said we could play sport. He's like, okay, but just today. Tomorrow we're in the computer room. And it's like, no, we've got it booked. We've got the library booked. We've got to be there. So you'd rock up and you'd be like, sir, yeah, I can't log in. Are you sure? Yeah. Oh, okay. One of the other classes there, just go play sport.
Not even go see one of the IT guys.
No. So I can't log in. Are you sure? Yeah, it's locked me out for like half an hour. There's only like 20 minutes left of class. Go play sport. Because, you know, it's like you put it in once, like, no. And you put it in twice, like, no. You put it in 3 times, like, okay, you gotta wait a minute. And then after that minute, if you got it wrong another 3 times, it's like, you gotta wait 5 minutes. And then, like, you just get it to the point where it's like, so it's a half-hour wait and I can't log in. And he's like, oh. And he'd never say, go see the IT guys. He'd be like, maybe he did one day. Maybe it was like, you can go see the IT guys or you can just go out and play sport. And I'm like, I'm going to go out and play sport. He's like, okay, but you should really check with the IT guys about your password not working. I'm like, no way my password's not working. It's because they put it wrong on purpose. I'm off to play sport, sir.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was the best. He was just like, I forgot how easy it was to get him to let us go and do this. Harbour, we want to play sport. No, we got to go to the computers. Harbour, we want to play sport. No, we got to go to the computers. Harbour, we're not in the mood to go to the computers. If we go in there, we're just going to waste time. Fine, go play sport. It's like, Harbour, you're a pushover. In the best possible way, you're a pushover.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of the work experience anyway. I was like one of the first like people that had actually done work experience at Bunnings, so they were like, do you have steel cap boots? No. Okay, just wear a pair of enclosed shoes. And literally went in just in normal clothes. The next year someone came in for work experience. And every year since then, it's still just been enclosed shoes. They don't have to wear steel caps. They've always been given a Bunnings shirt. So they're actually wearing a Bunnings shirt, and it's like...
So now they're just...
So now you're literally telling customers that they work here. Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
More importantly, and as I said, I find this just the funniest thing about the whole thing, but God damn, is that for work experience? God damn, is that to be like, you gotta do work experience. What work experience do you want to do? It's like, oh, I guess I'll go do work experience at Bunnings. It's like,
no, it's because...
Could you aim a little higher, please?
Like, that was my third choice because I couldn't get the other two. Don't get me wrong, I can't remember the other two. But I couldn't get them because, one, they only...
Kris, if you ever meet a work experience kid in Bunnings...
I have.
From this point forwards,
Yeah.
let me finish. You just have to, like, look at them dead in the eyes, like, oh, you drink down. I'm just gonna get intense.
Okay.
You look up and you see they're like, oh, this is so-and-so, his work experience. Like this, like this.
Yeah.
Aim higher! Better goals!
He's not wrong, though.
Walk away!
He's not wrong.
Wrap it, get better goals! Push them away and just walk away, death staring them up. Look into their fucking soul and tell them to aim higher in life.
I pretty much just like...
Seriously, you will end up here if you have no ambition.
So I had someone brought over to me like last year. And they're like, so he's here for work experience, this is his first day, he hasn't done anything like this before. And I looked at him and I'm like, you're pretty much just going to be putting stock away. I'm not going to teach you how to use any of this because it's pointless, because you're not even going to be with me tomorrow. So it's like, so all you're going to do is when a customer asks you a question, you just send them over to me and you keep putting that stock away.
So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to tool shop, find the biggest sledgehammer you can, run on the toe, workers' comp.
Oh, yes. They would have to do that.
They would.
They would have, as much as they're not actually hire or employed by them, they would have to do that.
It's about the only experience you can get at Bunnings.
And it's funny because it's a thing if they don't even force them to get steel caps. So it's not even. So it's a thing of like dropping your foot. It's like, oh, why was he wearing sand shoes? Like, work experience. We can't expect them to buy steel caps. They're never going to use them again.
You know the work experience. Steel cups. One size fits all.
Yeah, but it's just
no. Fuck
that is.
Yeah, as I said,
that's good for the next one.
Aim higher in life. You can get here without any ambition. Seriously.
Seriously, I lied constantly as I was getting into this job. I have this job.
No, Kris. I have this job.
Okay, good point. Good point. I do need to say it that way. It's like I'm still here. Shit.
Just waiting for that meteor strike.
She's like,
wait, a meteor's gonna hit the store? A meteor's gonna hit somewhere.
no way, but it will. But it's.
We can only hope that it's the same size as the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. This is going really morbid. Welcome to Bunnings.
Yeah, no, that's.
Welcome to Bunnings. Where
Actually,
ambition goes to die. Can we put that on the back of your shirts? Instead of lowest price is guaranteed, where ambition goes to die. How long do you think it would take for management to realise that's what's on the back of your shirt?
I don't know. Probably a while.
Oh,
with the amount that I've been at work recently, a long time.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of what the Bunnings shirt. Does it still just have like the percentage sign on the back?
No.
What's it got on the back?
I can't remember, but it's not a percentage.
I was gonna say, like, what if we just like custom printed our own thing that's like just like almost looks the same, so it's like the same border,
Yeah.
but instead of like the Bunnings symbol, it's just like a sad face. So like make sure it's the same kind of size.
Because
and
it's
everything.
not a Bunnings symbol. I know that. Don't get me
But
wrong.
whatever's there,
I don't look at the back of the shirt. I have no idea what the words on it are.
What-
But I know they've changed.
whatever's there, we get that. We make a design that's similar, but just sadder, and change the wording from whatever it is to where ambition goes to die. Put that on you. You wear that.
I don't even think.
Do you
it look.
think? I think it would be.
I really don't. Even
Because
think they look.
no one would notice it. Like no one. Like none of the customers, none of the staff, except the one person that does notice it is going to get a kick out of it. Like I could imagine like one of the Leanne's walking past and like looking at it and
Just
just you stand there and like them just like glancing at it, looking at it and going, wait, that's not what the shirt should. Wait, what? And then reading it again and going, oh my god, and then just like coming to you later and being like, that's not a real shirt.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
That's not one of our shirts. What gave it away? It says where ambition goes to die on the back of it.
Oh, shit. It does say that. No, it's like, so the new girl came in there.
No, this is the new shirt.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for this quite long podcast. The first of the new format.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed it. I just accidentally smacked the desk and shook the whole screen. That was interesting. And yeah. What else did we talk about? We talked about a lot of stuff.
Games.
But more importantly, remember today is Remembrance Day, and just a minute may seem like a long time, but a minute of silence is the least we can do for those who gave their lives so that people like me and Kris can be idiots on the internet and not have to worry about being executed by tyrannical governments.
Yes.
Which is nice.
It's good.
Yeah, keep that in mind today, and honestly, most days. It's not really something you should ever forget, and have a good one, guys. Catch you later.
Good.
Yeah.
So.